I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life, when I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. My name is Brian Gray, and we're live from Sheet 5 at the Beaumont Curling Rink in Beaumont, Alberta. This is a 15-team event playing a triple knockout with a total purse of 18,000 Canadian dollars. And this morning we are focusing on a draw 3 matchup between Team Yujie Zhang of Beijing in China and Team Michelle Hartwell of Edmonton, Alberta. Both these teams lost their opening games, so they'll be keen to stay in the B road with a win here. Team Zhang is represented by lead Yuning Zhang, second Min Lui, third Tingyu Su, and skip Yujie Zhang. And Team Hartwell is represented by lead Ashley Kalk, second Tori Hartwell, third Lisa Miller, and skip Michelle Hartwell. Just a reminder that we are streaming all sheets throughout Curling Stadium, and all games are available to watch on the Alberta Curling Series and Curling Zone YouTube channels. You can find your favorite teams on Curling Zone's YouTube channel by checking out the playlists and searching for your team name. It's youtube.com/curlingzone. We join the game in the first end, Team Hartwell with the hammer. As we see second player on the Chinese team, Min Lui, attempting a draw to the top of the forefoot here. Very nicely done, perfectly on the center line. And now Michelle's indicating to second player Tori to remove that red and roll to the right as we look on the main graphic behind that yellow corner guard. Chinese team without hammer don't particularly want to go behind that yellow corner guard, so quite happy to stay wide open somewhere. And now I'd expect Team Hartwell will have a good crack at removing this red and rolling behind the yellow corner guard. This one's going to over curl on them. Just rolls out of play. I'd expect we see Team Zhang again attacking the 4-foot circle. So third player, Ting Yu Su, with her first stone of this first end. Being given a free draw to the button here. Just needs to curl a little bit for them, but it's going to be nicely in the 4-foot, I think. At this point, I would expect Michelle's probably quite happy to play for a blank end, so good chance she'll just remove this and maybe roll a little bit, but possibly won't go behind the corner. As we see Lisa Miller, third player on this Hartwell team, safely removing the red counter and hanging around on the edge of the 4-foot circle. Safely done by Ting Yu Su. Nice controlled removal from Lisa Miller. And we're already on skip stones. So Yujie Zhang, skip of this Beijing team, with her first stone in this first end. Really important that she stays in the rings here. Needs to curl a little bit, but it's nicely done. So skip Michelle Hartwell with her first stone of this first end. Downweight take out, just looking to roll a little bit towards the center. Nicely done. And this time China might try to roll at least near to the corner guard. If she could ever hide completely, it would force Team Hartwell into a draw for 1 point, effectively a force. But even if she could get near to that yellow guard, it would make the hit and roll out for the blank end for her opponent much harder. Safely done on the nose. And now we will see Michelle with a maybe slightly more upweight takeout, hitting half the red on the left as we look, keeping last stone advantage into the second end. So Michelle Hartwell, last stone of this first end, playing for the blank, which she has done perfectly. So it's 0-0 after one end. Second end coming up in just a few moments.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. My name is Brian Gray, and we're live from Sheet 5 of the Beaumont Curling Club in Beaumont, Alberta. This is a draw 3 matchup between Team Zhang of China and Team Hartwell of Edmonton. And we are in the second end. The first end was blanked. Hartwell with the hammer. As we see Chinese lead player Yujie Zhang looking to play a top 4 draw here. Looks like it needs to curl a little bit, giving it a little bit of help there. And skip Michelle Hartwell, just checking that if she noses this for any reason, if it would be in the circles or not. As we see lead player Ashley Kalk being asked to remove at least one of these red counters. Hangs around on the side on the 12 foot, very nice. And in fact, she's made the double, so perfect result. Pools play to the side of the sheet, which favors Team Hartwell. So Team Zhang just removing that stone. And the skipper thinks it's not biting, so she might draw around this or maybe throw up another corner guard. Aiming instead just to nose it will give her a nice close corner guard. Taking lots of ice, so playing nice controlled takeout weight. She's going to hit a little bit less than she wanted to, meaning that she rolls into the rings, but good result. As we see second player Min being asked just to remove this yellow counter and hang around in the 4 foot circle. Noticeable China's playing a good bit stronger takeouts than Team Hartwell were. Even that double takeout that they played just now was a very controlled weight. Good to see. The second player, Tori, is asked to remove this red counter. Would like to roll somewhere, and she has done. She's going to roll a little bit into the center. Move things around a bit. Third player, Ting Yu Su, on this team from Beijing. Nicely done. And now this Edmonton team would really like to move the shooter around a little bit here, either roll left or roll right. Force China onto a new piece of ice, maybe get half a miss.
Any chance anybody's hearing me now?
Yes, hello, Jim.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We're live.
Yeah, I watched the first end. I just couldn't talk to anybody. Anyway, thanks for having me here. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've had a couple of defensive ends, but that's going to change pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, I would think so. This is the same ice we had last week for the event last week, and the ice was great and tons of curl and decent speed. So it should be good to play on if you want to play a little bit. So
lovely strong finish, and even they were playing like a double takeout just now. You probably saw it on what looked like maximum sort of bumper weight, and they seem to have a lot of control over the direction with sweeping.
Yeah, I think so. We talked a bit last week about it's on this sort of ice. It's just if you're not used to it, it's a little bit of a challenge matching up weight and ice. But these girls are solid players and should pick up on that fairly quickly.
Absolutely. I was just pointing out that China's playing a good bit stronger than the Hartwell team are, and of course, if you're playing that down weight, you need to be brave and you need to be spot on with your ice reading. Otherwise, you get some pretty unfortunate open misses can happen fairly easily.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Looks like we're trending towards another blank end.
Michelle had a chance to draw around a stone on the corner, but elected to remove it instead. Wasn't touching the rings, we think, and then rolled into the rings, and that's pulled play back into the rings again.
Yeah.
If she perhaps knows that, I think we'd have seen a little bit more stones in play, but she won't be too unhappy to blank another end.
No, Michelle. So she has hammer. Hartwell has hammer. Okay.
So this is Michelle Hartwell with her first stone in the second end. Another very controlled weight, and we'll see it just finishes nicely at the end here.
Stay around. No.
Mm.
A little bit of a drift on the delivery there, just a little bit of an outside line at the broom, so that probably didn't help with getting the rock back on target.
Yep. And maybe a little bit up compared to the other ones.
Oh, okay.
That one was probably a good bit faster than the double takeout they played early in the end. It was really a very controlled weight, but hit the angles perfectly and managed to get both stones. There was one stone on the 4-foot and one stone on the 12-foot, and they managed to get them out of the rings perfectly on sort of a bumper weight. That one was maybe just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked pretty close to what I define as a normal weight. I don't know what they throw, but
yeah. So that's not ice for buttons. So China obviously trying to move things around a little bit here, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like that would probably curl to the 8-foot on the other side, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a chance of a nose or something.
Yeah. I always like to, or a lot of the time anyway, I like to throw this shot if I have this situation where I put it in the center of the sheet just because they have longer weight, a lot further to roll out.
Right, I agree, yeah.
But you're also right. If they haven't been over here, that's not a bad option either. So looks like good weight. Have to be pretty solid with this one, or it'll probably curl up.
Yeah, that's the tendency, isn't it? That it's going to over curl on you.
Yeah.
So this is Michelle Hartwell with the last stone in the second end, looking for a blank.
Looks pretty good. Well done.
Very nicely done. So after 2 ends, it's still 0-0. Team Hartwell with the hammer. We're back in a moment.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. My name is Brian Gray, and I'm joined by Jim Nix, and we are live from Sheet 5 of the Beaumont Curling Club in Beaumont, Alberta. 0-0, Jim.
Yeah, it looks like maybe we might get a little something happening here. The Hartwell team's going to throw up a corner guard, so if they can manage to keep it in the free guard zone in front of the house, then we might have a little action develop.
In the second end, I'm not sure if it picked up, but it stopped short of the hog line. They looked a little bit disappointed, like maybe it had picked up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this one's just run into the rings.
Yeah, the red stone, the Chinese stone, is well behind the tee line, and this one has a good chance of ending up behind the tee line if she stays. So it's still an opportunity for Hartwell to get a little bit aggressive, maybe. We'll see what happens.
A couple of freeze opportunities.
Yeah. This one looks a little wide.
This one's out, yeah, and it's fast as well, really fast.
She won't be too happy with that throw, but let's give Alberta Alberta rink a chance to get a little bit more aggressive here. That's a lot of ice.
Yeah. She didn't actually indicate to guard the yellow. She just indicated like a middle of the 8-foot corner guard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Lovely finish at the end. Look at this.
Oh, I know, it goes sideways.
All the way over.
Well, I guess if you were scoring her, you'd score well on that. I think I would like to have it another foot over if it was me.
Let's see how that develops for her. It's an unusual call, yeah. Especially with the 5-rock rule.
Yeah.
If you guard that up, the other team's not allowed to remove it.
Yeah. This looks better. Still hanging a little bit, but should be okay.
A little bit more controlled as well.
Yeah.
Made all the difference, I think. As the game goes on and teams get more confident with the ice reading, they can begin to drop their weight, but it's kind of natural at the start, especially in a new curling hall. You tend to keep the weight up
Yeah,
just
no,
to avoid those flashes.
yeah. Even with practice, I think that's we have their 10 or whatever minute practice that they have. It's I think it's still a good strategy for a lot of teams that maybe not the very, very top echelon, but the teams that are working to get there, that just, don't fool around too much with the weights. If you're calling a takeout in the first couple ends, throw a takeout. Just don't throw
I
it
agree.
too far. Yeah.
Especially without hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
There we go again. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And I would say, especially on that sort of 8-foot line, because
Yeah.
coming from outside in, if you drop the weight, as we see, it can almost curl too far.
Yeah.
Even at the top of the rings, it might look like it's pretty safe, and then by the time it gets to the back of the 8-foot, it's over curled another half a rock.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you've got to communicate really, really well on those shots. If somebody does something a little bit unexpected with the weight, either way, you've got to make sure that everybody knows what it is at least.
Exactly.
So she's going to play to hit this corner guard, I guess, if that's you call that a corner guard. I thought they might choose to use it, but this could roll into the rings and be pretty good for her, though.
Looks good if it curls just a little bit. It's just going to go out.
Yeah. Well, that might be the end of the offense for this end, Brian.
Yeah, the natural tendency now is to say, okay, we didn't have a particularly great start. We'll just remove this one and see what happens.
Yeah. You would see a lot of teams here in Hartwell's position that would just say, well, we're not going to go back here and hit this rock at the back of the 12-foot. We still have half an end to go. So we still have plenty of opportunity to put up a corner and work with it a little bit. You might get forced if worse comes to worse, but at some point you gotta try to go after a couple points too. So I thought she might do that there, but not yet.
And you're right. She has 5 rocks left, and there's plenty of time to throw up a guard and maybe get a couple around it and create some offense. But everybody's
for sure, yeah. And teams are, yeah, you're right. Everybody and teams in particular have a different approach to a lot of situations. I've just lost my video in this end. Okay. Okay.
And Team Zhang not interested to throw up a center guard. They're just going to continue to play top 4, I think.
Yeah, I figure when she peeled the semi-corner, semi-center guard, the last shot, that she probably wouldn't throw anything back up. But again, you don't know for sure what they're thinking all the time. So,
as I mentioned, both teams lost their first game. Does change a little bit the feeling when you go on the ice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, we don't probably know how those games went, other than you can read the score. But they might have found that they tried to do something a little different and it didn't work out, and they're not totally comfortable going the same route this time. Who knows?
Agree. Yeah. Team Hartwell lost 7-3 against Wang of China, which of course is a very strong team. And Team Zhang lost 6 points to 2 against Yoshimura of Japan. So both games appearing to be pretty one-sided.
Yeah. That's a bad miss there. That's just a wide open hit. And it's a couple of shots where the others are over further, but that's probably at least two full complete misses between the two teams on a wide open in-turn hit. And you don't expect that, really. I don't know this team, but just by watching them call the game and the interaction and everything would indicate maybe they're just a little bit newer on the world stage, if you would, because there's a lot of conversation for a shot that you would expect a team to either know, okay, we're going to split the house or we're going to throw the guard, one of the two.
Yeah.
Your two options, and I don't. It just seems like a little more banter than you really need for for that.
I agree. Normally that would be standard procedure. This is what we're going to do and just do it. I'm just looking at the skip, actually. She played number 2 for the Chinese team on the World Junior B Curling Championships 2023 in December. And actually, they actually won the event.
Okay.
So the skip today was playing number 2 on that Chinese team.
Yeah.
And they finished with a 7-1 record and went on to finish in first position in that qualification. That was the B group of the World Juniors.
Yeah.
And then I checked the team that played the A World Juniors, and the skip here was not on that team. So they changed. And the 2 events were only about 2 months apart. I think it's December and February. So there was changes between the qualification event and the main A event in February of this year. So we are looking at a younger skip for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's and you know, obviously has some experience and a good player to play on that team, even the team that won that championship. And but at the same token, it's, you know, that's a far different situation than when you're skipping your own team, maybe maybe for the first year.
Yes.
You know, so all of a sudden you're not, maybe some are, but sometimes you're not quite as confident, not quite as sure, and you reach out to the team probably more than you need to at times. But anyway,
I agree.
Good to see them here. A lot of Asian teams in the country.
Yeah.
Just in different events. You look at it, almost every event, and you got a number of Asian teams.
And doing well. The Japanese teams
very well, yeah.
In the Saville shootout, the Japanese teams were all highly on form.
Oh yeah, the final 4 were 3 Japanese teams.
Three teams, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good throw. So second stone, we figured she wouldn't have any trouble with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see how our draw weight is later. That'll be interesting. Second player tends to play those sort of PO weights and ripping off guards and the occasional draw, I guess. But moving up to 4th stone, that's a different set of challenges.
Yeah, certainly.
So skip Michelle Hartwell with her first stone in this 3rd end. Still 0-0 as we complete this 3rd end.
That's a good throw.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're not a difficult shot, sometimes those are good confidence builders when when you do what you want to do, even on the basic shots. It's still a good thing to have to make those shots and not just be rolling out all the time.
Yeah, it's a good point. And as I mentioned, both teams losing, it's just a great feeling to make some shots, even if they are, as you say, kind of bread and butter shots. It just warms the heart, and you feel like you belong, and everything is going much better when you can hit and stay like that. It really is a great feeling for a skipper.
Yeah, exactly.
So skip Yujie Zhang with her last stone of this 3rd end.
That should hang on, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we were talking about or last end or whatever, that it's a long roll here to blank this in, so it takes a very good shot, especially if you're not somebody that throws it 100 miles an hour kind of thing,
right?
Which I don't do, that's for sure. Never have, even when I was 25 or 30 years younger. So these shots were always harder for me than I thought they should be.
Michelle is playing a little bit up weight, but in the grand scheme of things, not so heavy, really. And there we are. It's over curled on her. So that's a force of 1 point. So Hartwell goes into a 1-0 lead after 3 ends. Fourth end's coming up in just a moment.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it
And, I know they weren't necessarily forced to one there, but they ended up with one. And, chances are they wouldn't have had trouble scoring one, even if they did decide to throw out the corner when we talked about it, or get a little more aggressive, play a freeze, do something like that. So I think that'd be a good conversation piece for them afterwards, and just kind of chat a little bit about and say, we don't want to get forced there. So what do we want to do? Anyway.
It's a very good point, because at that point, there was a stone at the back of the 8 foot. They had their own stone at the edge of the 8 foot. They could also have thrown up a corner guard, covered their own rock completely, and then, as you say, really have quite a good chance for 2, actually.
Yeah.
With nothing in the middle.
Yeah, it's just tough to run through a whole bunch of blank ends, I think. So, but anyway, it's the way it is, and Chinese team now will see what they can manufacture with their hammer.
This is Yujie Zhang, lead player on this Chinese team. Trying her best not to drift into the rings, which she's done nicely.
That's a much more aggressive move on their part, which is good. Like to see it.
We are, of course, playing the 5 rock no tick, so that yellow guard on the center line can't be touched by Team China. So now second player Rory Hartwell trying to come around this very close center guard. Just confirming it's 1-0 after 3 ends. We're in the 4th end now. And Zhang has the last rock advantage in this 4th end.
And this looks pretty good.
Yep, this will finish lovely. And it's great to see them using the corner guard immediately, because how often do we see a team throwing a corner guard and never actually using it? Unfortunately, it's just over curled a hair on them.
Yeah, probably just a couple feet light, and it was just enough to rub the guard.
So Tori being asked to play a hit and roll here, but I think she's on the corner guard.
She is. She might make the
She might get the double.
Wow.
Wow.
Must be very clean living, that group.
Nice result.
Yeah, for sure.
Cleans up the side, and they've still got their nice center guard there, so they got a chance to make a little bit of pressure if China would ever roll out here.
I don't mind this call. I think you threw up the corner, and you ended up getting a little unfortunate there, but whatever. Now you're down to 4 rocks each left, and if you're somebody that gets a little bit nervous with rocks in play, this might be a better option at this point. Try to get a roll maybe versus a corner, and then come around and then moving rocks and everything that goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Very good try.
At this stage, you probably have to say that if she can roll behind the center guard, the setup's definitely favoring the team without hammer at this point, but that can change pretty quick.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. But as you say right now, anyway.
If she can ever get into the 4-foot circle here and really shrink the scoring zone.
She's going to be close to doing that.
It's perfect if it doesn't overcurl. Great shot.
Yeah, really good shot. I think you have to run the guard down.
You can certainly get 2 here. All 3 might be a little bit tricky. They're just so well lined up. You would need quite a bit of pace to get the 3rd one out.
Yeah.
The front one out, basically.
It's in the neighborhood. For a little bit more.
Creates a nice corner guard for a team, though.
Yeah, I agree.
If Team Hartwell don't perfectly guard this double now, there's a chance to remove the yellows and roll behind that red for China. So this one needs to be on the line. Third player, Lisa Miller.
They're so far out, you think they're never possibly going to get to where they want them to get to, and then they just swoop right over.
It's a beautiful finish. We had that in the Saville Center a couple of weeks ago as well. Just so controllable as well, the sweeping. To place those guards with sweeping at the end there, it's...
Yeah.
At some point, China might flip and say, okay, we're going to go in.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be now, though. I think it's, I don't like that shot either. That's kind of... It's makeable, but I think it's a very much tougher shot than either the cold draw or the run back. Either one of them are easier than making this good. But I said that a couple of times last weekend too, and I was proven to be wrong.
Plan B here would be just to tick the guard and roll into the circles.
Yeah.
Set up a small chance of a 2 that way. Looks like they're playing like back 12 weight, not even.
Yeah, she's going to be on the guard, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like you say, if you can get a little roll on, would be good. I kind of like playing that. I'm not sure what you would like, Brian. I think I like trying that run back again on that one. You were pretty close the first time, and you can hit the one, maybe get a couple of them, and still end up with a guard or two in the front for yourself. And so that was a tough shot.
I agree, and the good thing about the run back is obviously that stone right on the button it's high quality. You'd love to move it, even if you don't clear all the yellows, just to get that away from the button area, just to make sure that if you are drawing later in the end, at least you're going to get your one.
Yeah.
Because right now, if they can guard that perfectly, it's going to be a tough draw or tough chip to get even 1 point.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. And you probably have to play it in a way that you're going to throw back four or something just to make sure you stay and don't do anything worse than give up a one.
Exactly. And if you ever tick the front, then you're looking at a multiple score. So I agree. I would be tending to run that stone back on the last one. I'm sure they'll reconsider this time. This one's perhaps a little bit closer, though. Maybe even in.
Yeah, it might be in. Bit of an overcurl for sure, but it's one thing about them when they start. You're not going to straighten them out, so you kind of got to hold them out there early. But that one was just heavy enough that they couldn't do that, so they kind of got caught a little bit.
The good thing from the Hartwell perspective is at least if they do try that shot again, they're forcing them to the other handle, the other rotation.
Exactly, yeah.
If you were giving them the same shot twice, you'd expect them to make the second one perfectly. But this, it looks easy, and maybe for these teams it is, but it has to be played perfectly.
Yeah.
Again, the plan B of a little roll behind the little tick on the yellow and roll somewhere, but it's getting a little bit late in the end for that now. They really need to get this one off the button, I think, to make sure they're not losing a steal.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that's true. And I do think that if you ever did just rub the front one, you might end up being able to end up in the 8 foot for number 2, but that'd have to be a good fortune for sure.
And would it help you? Because if they then guard up, you might not get a chance to even bring that stone into play. So I think the priority here has to be to get this out of the 4 foot circle and give yourself a bit of space to score.
Yeah. She probably looked a little tight to me. Not that we can, it's hard to tell from here, and she jumped it pretty soon, so pretty quick rather.
So we're on skip stones in this fourth end, and she squeezed past.
That's a great shot.
Even the double at the back. Look at that.
No. And she's even got quarter of the rock behind the guard. I didn't think that would be possible.
Perfect result.
Yeah. Certainly removable, but just the same. That was a great shot. And they had to go all the way because the one sweeper started right out of her hand. And
they did, yeah.
Just guessing the line a little bit from where she was sliding. I thought she might have been a little bit inside the Roomba. So.
Mm-hmm. So Michelle Hartwell with her last stone in this fourth, trying to chip the red and just hang around anywhere in the rings, really, to force China to take 1 point.
Sweeper's sort of indicating it might be a little bit up for weight.
Mm-hmm. It's on this corner, on the center guard, I think.
I think you're right, yeah.
I think there was a little bit of an angle on the release.
Yeah, it looked like, it looked like she kind of just came back in with it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know that we saw a 2 for China coming up here a couple of shots ago, but she's got an opportunity. I don't know from the overhead if either of the reds would be a splittable option, but it certainly would.
And with that,
yeah,
they must have heard you, Jim.
I know nobody could hear me at all for the first end. Now everybody could hear me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I I would be looking a lot harder at it than just this, just an automatic draw. That one on the left-hand side looks very, very makeable for a 3 instead of just 2. But
I agree. I mean, there's so many ways to play that split that you almost guarantee that you'll get 2 if you don't get 3.
yeah, it's close enough that, it's not one of those that sometimes you throw just draw weight and you don't get anything. It looks like you're going to get, as long as you just throw T-line or back 4, you're going to get at least one of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see if she gets this one first. Sweeper's working pretty hard.
Needing a bit of encouragement, but it looks to be there.
Yeah.
Well, as you say, a bit of a surprise. A nice 2-ender from Team Zhang of China, and they go into a 2-1 lead after 4 ends. Team Hartwell with hammer in the 5th end coming up in a few moments.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Looks like the teams are taking advantage of a short break here at the end of the 4th end.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2,
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
A little bit harder for me to commit to coach anything because you're just not going to be here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. My name is Brian Gray and I'm joined this morning by Jim Nix, and we're waiting for the commencement of the 5th end with Team Zhang scoring a nice 2 in the 4th to lead 2 points to 1 after 4. Team Hartwell will have the hammer in this 5th end.
Yeah, I think we'll see Hartwell's team, get a little bit more aggressive now. And, they did a good job last end. I mean, if the last guard just curls 4 inches less or 5 inches less, then they probably end up stealing a point or 2 in that end. And, but now I think that they've got to turn it up a notch and say, we got to go after it a little bit. I mean, you're only down a point. You don't have to go, you don't have to be silly, but you got to make some kind of a move along the way here.
Agree. The error in that end was just that guard just over curling a hair. We were just talking about guard placement on the center line, and you got to be on the high side and sweep it to the line. You can't hope that it's going to stop, and it just over curled on them. Half a rock opened up the opportunity for China to play a very nice chip and managed to be a little bit behind the center guard, and that set up the opportunity of 2 in that fourth end.
Yeah, you're right, Brian. I mean, it was definitely a very, very good shot by the Chinese skip. It was not, making contact wasn't necessarily crazy difficult, but to make it and stay and get rid of a couple at the same time was a big bonus. That was a 5 out of 4 kind of shot.
I agree, and because it was behind that center guard, it put pressure on Hartwell to be closer to the center guard to remove it.
Yeah.
And then she just overcurled by, as we saw, just by an inch and crashed the guard. So that was the difference in that end. So it was a really nice shot from the Chinese skip with our first player, first stone, excuse me.
I think if it was Hartwell, though, I would have been quite happy when she was going down to throw the draw for 2 and not looking at chipping one of those other ones on, because she could have easily given up a 3 at that end. So, so it seems justice that it was only 2, to be honest. So
fair point, yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are at the start of the fifth end. This is lead Yujie Zhang. Will be interesting to see if they continue with their top 4. Yes, they're going for top 4 again. With the 5 rock, no tick. It is quite interesting. Teams are perhaps playing more often the very close guard because they know that the other team are not allowed to touch it. Here, the opponent can basically choose what they do with that red, and there you see, Michelle's going to move it off this button and roll somewhere to the side.
Yeah, you would see a lot of teams in the Chinese skip there. That call, you still see a lot of teams at this point that might just go to the center and try to force Hartwell to start to do something. But it's the fifth end. You do have a 1-point lead. You're not really the team that has to make much happen right now. So.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, in the old days, you would always go to the button, but with the 5 rock rule, it is noticeable. More teams are playing that really close guard, even when they don't really need to do it. Just taking advantage of that no tick policy.
Yeah, I agree. This is a spot some of the players had trouble with in the last time coming this way in the third end, both teams.
We saw a couple that hung out and a couple that really curled a lot at the very end. Very weight specific, as you'd expect.
So Hartwell's going to try to get things going a little bit with the corner guard here.
Just as she did in a previous end, she tends to be giving ice for not really a sort of a wide corner guard, but quite close to the center line.
Yeah, you're right. And it's, I know it's very easy to do and not take enough. And then the corner guards end up guarding, just only the 12-foot kind of thing. But you gotta, I look at the corner guard and figure I want to guard pretty much the 8-foot.
Yeah.
And, not a piece of the 4-foot at all, but I'd like to guard the 8-foot, maybe a little tiny bit into the 12, but I don't really want it to end up where it's guarding part of the 4-foot.
Absolutely agree. Because you could be, you've got the hammer, you could be drawing to the 4-foot.
Yeah, exactly.
Later in the end, and if you've got a yellow that's hanging around somewhere in the 4-foot line, it's just getting in the way. Let's see if she corrects the ice. Actually, it did curl a long way, but most of the curl was in the rings.
Yeah.
She's indicating just edge of the 4 there.
probably okay as long as she gets the weight right. And that might take a little less, but that's not too bad.
Well, she got exactly what she wanted.
Yeah.
That's exactly where she indicated.
Yeah.
Interesting. China are not interested in getting involved in any sort of 4-foot play.
Yeah. Yeah. Just from my own liking, I find that still a little bit too close to the center, and even if you happen to get something behind it, it's hard to what do you do after that, because everything's just a little too close to the center line. So
agree, and the whole point, if you've got a corner guard and you draw around it, if the other team does choose to freeze, the whole idea is that that's not putting any pressure on you to get your one.
yeah.
And of course, with it being a little bit central, if you did draw around that and the other team were to freeze on you, which they might do, then suddenly the scoring area has been really shrunk down. So I would like to see that guard another 2.5 feet over, like you said, just somewhere edge of the 8, 12, even a little bit of the 12-foot, just so that if it gets complicated in the side there, you can always just draw for your one.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be in trouble on a corner because somebody came around a corner guard that you threw and tried to put exactly there.
Exactly.
So we need another term. We have center guards and we have corner guards. That's like a middle guard or something.
Yeah.
Have to invent something there, Brian. Would you come up with a word for that? I don't know.
I remember the use of a term, was it tweener, for that weight between backline and hack?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
same idea.
Maybe it's a tweener guard.
Tweener guard, yeah.
But I'm with you. I like to see that a good bit further over, away from the 4-foot circle, just to make sure that if things get a bit complicated later in the end, that you still have a relatively easy draw for your one.
Yeah, exactly.
Now will be interesting. Now China have satisfied themselves. That's a perfect center guard. We're going to draw around it, even though it's yellow.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough if you're having trouble at home watching this. A little bit tough to follow the strategy, I think, from these two teams. It just sort of just fools me a little bit where they're going to go. And not that I know what the right shots are all the time. I just try to guess along with everybody else. But they just, after they peeled that guard earlier, I would have thought maybe they would just peel that yellow one off here, even just because they didn't like the fact it was yellow in front. But
right,
I like the shot better.
Mm-hmm. The logic seems to be, look, that's a perfect center guard. We're going to go behind it, which they didn't quite make.
Yeah.
And now it looks like a little bit of cleanup here from Team Hartwell.
You could play this if you were real aggressive. You could play this with something less than a takeout weight and try to maybe bounce off the other and roll the one in the house that's already there, and still achieve a little bit of what you're trying to do. If you hit this rock kind of right here, but you hit it with, just maybe backline weight at most, it probably would stay. That's a little unlucky, but it got rid of everything she wanted to get rid of. So that's good for her.
Except and there's a corner. So she, if she's thinking that way, she can come around that corner and still get 2 points from here.
Yeah.
With her hammer. As you say, a little bit unfortunate. Both those stones were spinning, and I think that's what managed to get them out the back of the 12-foot. I thought one or other was going to stop.
Well, I know, and they almost had both of them stay. So I didn't see, even when I was thinking of something else, I wasn't seeing both rocks ending up in the house there. So
take the identical angle and just throw like a hack instead of a bumper, and Bob's your uncle. 2 in the 8-foot.
She going
now China going for the center guard.
So obviously Michelle Hartwell has decided to try to get out of this end with the blank and do something with the hammer in the even end and the next end in the sixth end.
Yes.
Might have been a little outside here. Looked like a little in out on the delivery, and
Yep, and it was a little bit up again. Yeah.
yeah.
Compared to the weight they've been playing anyway, they do seem to play a very controlled weight, which I really like to see in a team like that.
Yeah, because
throwing it to the sweepers.
Yeah, it's a peel, but it's sort of like a peel would really like to stay around in the corner somewhere on that shot, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything less than sort of 2/3, and you're going to be a corner guard somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's a chance really for China from nowhere now. They've got a perfect center guard, and if they can drop this top of the button, put a bit of pressure now on Hartwell's team. As we see skip Yujie Zhang with her first stone of this fifth end, looking for a piece of the button. Really nicely played, beautiful finish.
Yeah, that's a dandy shot. She's come through with a couple of really good shots the last couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm. She was number 2 in that junior team, but as we expected, she's in skip position for a reason, and she's got very good control of draw weight and ice reading. It has to be said, that was a perfect come around there. It's 90% hidden behind the center guard. And I think Michelle realizing now probably the easier shot's going to be the run back double.
Yeah, you know what? I think I probably would agree with this one. I think that's a tough little shot to pick that out because you really need to stay, or she just does it again. So if you can make the run back here, even if it doesn't go out, but it moves it off that top of the 4-foot kind of area, and you might get a little easier shot on the next one, maybe.
I agree, because it looks to be top of the button. Jim looks to be really good. So if you can even move it away from the 4-foot somewhere, give a little bit of space. So Michelle Hartwell with her first stone in this fifth end, looking for a double on these reds.
Almost.
Was a very controlled weight for a double clearing. But she has given herself a little bit of space.
Yeah. Looks like the skipper's going to... Zhang's just going to play the same shot she just played. Probably not a bad call. The other option here, you could just guard your own that's in there. You don't have a piece of the 4, so it's not a great one to guard, but you could play that and just say, go ahead and try to draw that 4-foot and give me back the hammer.
So Yujie Zhang with her last stone in this fifth end, looking once again for a piece of the button. Just coming up a little bit shorter than she would have liked, but keeps the pressure on her opponent. Now line 2.
Yeah, I'm sure, like you're saying, I think she would have loved to have gone a couple more feet just to make this shot a little bit more of a challenge, but But you haven't got a lot of room to roll here on the outside, so you got to get to the pretty much the nose of this to make sure you stay for a point.
Where she finished, Jim, is actually better than if she was level. If she was level, it was basically setting up a really easy double.
Easy double, yeah.
Like it is, it's not bad. It's keeping the pressure on, and as you say, she's got to be pretty much 3/4 or better here to hang around to be shot. So last stone in the fifth,
Yeah.
Michelle Hartwell hitting against 2, trying to hit and stick for 1 point.
I have to hold on here.
And it's going to roll all the way over the 8-foot, but it's going to hang around, and she gets her single. It's now 2-2 after 5. Team Zhang from China with the hammer in the 6th, coming up in a few moments.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
And Scotland as well. Nice series being sold for residential purposes.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. We're tied at 2-2 here in the 6th end. Team Zhang of China with the hammer. My name is Brian Gray, and I'm joined by Jim Nix this morning.
Things should get pretty interesting here for the final 3 ends, Brian. It's, very close and has been very close all along. So I would expect to see 3 real good ends to finish it up.
I agree, and Team China surely looking now to get a nice 2 in this 6th end.
Yeah.
To set themselves up for a good last 3 ends, as you say, to this game. Be interesting to see what Team Hartwell does here. If they're going to throw a center guard on the center line.
Yeah, I would think that would be the call here. And the Chinese team threw a very good corner guard there. It got over to the, split in the 8-foot, 12-foot kind of area. So a good rock for them to use. And that's a good time to be short on this one. I don't think it's going to be, but.
That's really unfortunate because that would have been a no-tick guard. And China's ignoring it and going straight to the corner, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, it was perfect line on that guard attempt. She looks like she's going to hit something.
Her instinct was to go behind the corner, but it looks like they're playing a controlled weight, hit the left side as we look on that main graphic and roll behind her corner, perhaps.
Yeah, I think you need to find a way to get over your fears and get a little more aggressive sometimes in the first couple of shots, before things get messy. But nothing really terribly wrong with this call, but it's unless you stay on that shot, it's not really beneficial. Let's see what Michelle's going to do here. I assume she wants these short. Yeah.
Second player, Rory Hartwell, would love to be just short of the rings here on the center line. The no-tick part of the end has passed, but still perfectly on the center line, guarding the button is what she wants here. Looks to be pretty good. It's going to swoop in. If they can keep that brushing going and bring it to the center line. Great brush. There we go.
Yeah, that's good brushing. Yeah. A pretty good location. I think probably would have preferred maybe, a few feet deeper, but that's not a bad spot.
And interesting, she's clearly guarding the button there, not guarding her shot at the back of the forefoot, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, me as well.
So second player on this Chinese team, Min Lu, being asked to play an in-turn control weight, hit the yellow and roll behind this corner guard.
This looks really good. Really good in the sense that it went behind the guard barrier. I know they weren't going that way, but
yeah, that was their plan B, but that's a good result.
Good situation for Hartwell too now, though. She does have a center guard out there, and she does have a rock at the back of the forefoot that could be beneficial for her. Sweepers are not looking like they want to sweep this one at all, though.
It's getting closer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going sideways now.
They could have elected to freeze that, but they've chosen just to. If they'd swept it a little bit earlier, they would managed to kept the line out a little bit, and they probably would have frozen that red. But they've elected to play in front of the tee line, which is also not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That red.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian. No, I think you're right. I think it was. I don't know for sure where they exactly wanted to end up, but the sweepers fooled me a little bit on it, in that I thought it was probably a little bit heavier than that. They just looked like it was heavier than that. So maybe they just got a little caught on that one. But still, like you said, it's a very good shot.
This is just going to. Oh, it's even going to nose the guard. Look at that.
Yeah. Might get fortunate. A little bit fortunate.
Yeah. Good news for Team Hartwell is they've got exactly the same shot again. So if they did want the freeze, they can just get the sweeping right this time and they'll have it. But it looks like they're going for top of the button.
That might be a better option, actually, top of the button. It's it's just because there's so much curl, there's an opportunity for the opposition to remove it. But at the same time, generally speaking, you would want this to be above the tee line, above that other rock, I think, versus the freeze. But either one would work out pretty good for them right now, I think, as long as they get one of them. This one's got a really curl.
And now maybe they'll switch to the freeze because it looks like it's going to be pretty close to the freeze now.
Yeah.
Nice shot. The double on the yellows is there.
Yeah, definitely there. It's but yeah, they're hard to follow. That's amazing. It's just, even though we watched so many games of this now, it's still hard to believe how much the rock will curl in the last 6 feet or 8 feet or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you play the double here. You might lose your back red one, but I think that's the shot anyway. I think. Unless you're
ideal would be if the red just got nudged back a foot, would be really nice.
Yeah.
which might happen because it's just sort of looks like the yellow is just going to graze the top of that back red.
Yeah.
So if they can get just the straight double and even a little bit of movement on that back red without removing it would be a perfect result.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be much better because if you make the double the other way and lose your red one, then Hartwell could hit yours and sit two because she's got
Right.
a little biter out in the wings there. This one's curling a lot.
Once again, very control weight, but it looks to be really good. The yellow's hung around in the 4-foot though, so it is second shot.
Well, we got a lot more to look at now. That's good.
We had a couple of blanks in the first half of the game, but no blank this time. Someone's going to score.
Yeah. And both teams are just one shot away from being in a very good situation. So
third player, Lisa Miller, not being asked to remove anything, looking just to freeze this red, I think.
yeah, I think so too. She might have a great shot. Very nice.
Perfect. What's really nice about it as well is that any pressure on that yellow and both reds appear to be leaving the rings.
Yeah.
Just got the angle very nicely at the end there. And now we see a little bit the inexperience. Skip, there's a lot of discussion going on, as you mentioned earlier. Maybe just not quite used to this kind of situation as a skip. Looks to be running red on yellow, if I understood correctly.
Yeah, I think you did. I think that's the call. Sometimes it just gets a little too late to bail. That's the only thing. You got to just be aware. Well, she got a chance.
This is actually going to be...
Ooh, that didn't work out so good.
No.
It can be a brutal game sometimes. I mean, that rock comes up another 3/4 of an inch and so, and you'll probably have a dandy shot.
Absolutely. As it is, yellow line 1. The yellow at the back is in third position now, so you could just draw top of the 8-foot and sort of guard everything up in the rings.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that when you guard here, you don't have to be right in front of that rock. You could actually, be a little bit off on the center line side and still be in a good position here. You don't overthrow, I guess is what I'm saying.
Guarding the button more than the shot again, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not easy for the Chinese team to remove the yellow that is in shot position because there's 2 reds behind that yellow.
Yeah, that's right.
So Michelle Hartwell, first stone for her in the 6th end. Looks like top 8. Guard the shot position that's in the 4. Shot stone that's in the 4-foot circle.
I think both teams have got a little better handle on the ice the last few ends, so I expect this to be very close.
Pretty good result, I would say. It's exactly the line she wanted. I don't think she wanted it quite so long, but that was the line she called.
Yeah.
There is a gap here, of course.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, that you're protected a little bit in the back. Hartwell's protected a little bit in the back by the red ones being behind it. But I think you're going to have to go after it anyways, and hopefully end up in a decent spot. It's a big enough hole. You look at the overhead, it looks like it's a big enough hole, but it curls so much that the hole's not quite as big as you might think. And she did a great job of not over curling that rock. And when ice curls this much, sometimes you throw guards and they just curl too far, and you just leave a much easier shot than, even though this is more or less wide open. I'm like you. I think if that rock was in basically the same place but 6 feet further down, now the hole gets smaller again.
Yeah.
And you're in much better. And so they maybe misjudged slightly, but it's a tough shot.
So it looks like she's happy to sacrifice her 2 reds at the back, because I think if she hits this just off center, all the reds are going, but she can roll on. She could flop onto the button effectively here.
Yeah, and she made this an out turn that she made a great shot on a couple ends back. She's really close on this one too. If she doesn't hit the guard, it's going to go. That one really moved. It moved earlier than I would have expected, and not quite sure if they just misjudged it. I guess they must have.
And it's one of those where you kind of have to be sweeping, even when it's sort of half on that other red guard. You can't wait for it to clear the guard and then start sweeping. You have to be really early with the sweeping and then hope that it just draws off the wide guard at the last moment.
They're having a look at that rock. They thought the same thing, I guess, that I thought. It just seemed odd that it went that quick, and nobody seemed to be in a real panic out of her hand. So I thought she was going to be pretty close, and then it just didn't end up there. So
maybe you just picked something.
Yeah. It's an interesting call. You could probably, I can't remember exactly what it looks like on the overhead, but you could go down actually and bump the yellow onto the red and probably sit 2, maybe even 3 if you were so inclined, but you're going to run some risk with it as well.
Yeah, that would be an interesting call. I mean,
yeah,
a chance to really put the pressure on.
Yeah.
1 stone is pressure, but as you say, if you lie 2 or 3 in the 4 foot, then a real chance to steal even more than a point.
Yeah.
But it looks to be positioning exactly the same. Might just sweep a little bit more this time to cover the hole.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's forcing their opponent onto a different shot this time.
Yeah. They're tapping the yellow like they think they can go by and tap it out.
Yep. I think back 4 foot length on this, she could pick up 2.
Yeah.
We've seen the finish down here. If she can just get the line right, get close to that center guard.
Yeah,
doesn't need anything more than back 8, I think, would be the maximum weight you would play.
Yeah, I would say definitely no more than that. No, I think it's such a big end to score that I think you've got to be, don't do anything crazy, or make sure you get your 1. Make sure you throw the weight that would get you your 1, and then if you can carve it in there at the end, go ahead. I don't know if she comes to the back one, if she's shot or not, Brian.
That's a good question. That would allow you to play a little bit more weight, because then you could say, well, either I chip the shot or I get straight on the back one for my point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That would be an interesting, As you say, 6th end, I mean, she's got to be happy with 1, but there's a real good chance to get 2 here, I think.
Yeah.
How much risk does she want to take going after that 2? It's really good.
This could be really, really good. You're right.
She can hang around, can she?
Wow.
Beautiful shot.
That is a great shot.
That's a lovely shot from the young Chinese skip to pick up 2 points in the 6th end, and now Team Zhang of China leading by 4 points to 2. Team Hartwell with the hammer in the 7th end coming up in a moment.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Because Canada's doing the 1 year ahead, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so, yeah. Anyway.
Welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. We're live from Sheet 5 of the Beaumont Curling Club in Beaumont, Alberta. And we have a really nice game of curling going on. Team Zhang of China leading by 4 points to 2 after 6 ends. We join the game in the 7th, Team Hartwell with the hammer, trying to get 2 back.
That's a very usable corner guard there.
That's a nicer line, isn't it? And you can still draw to the button, so it's not getting in the way of that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit close to the rings, but certainly more usable than some of the other ones that they've had, I would say, as well. Nice and wide. So Team China now probably trying to take advantage of the no-tick rule here and leave a stone just short of the 12-foot circle on the center line. Would be surprised if they come into the rings this time, Jim.
Yeah, I would too, yeah.
Lead player Yujie Zhang looks to be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's a guard. There we go. Perfect. That stone cannot be removed from the center line by the Hartwell team. And this looks to be an attempt to come around their corner guard.
I think so, yeah.
And there we go, touching the center line at the hog line. And look, it's going to go all the way, possibly even over curl. Perfect. Very nice shot from Ashley
well
Culp.
managed. Yeah, very well managed for the Hartwell team with the corner guard, and then they come around. That's the way you like to do it. You just have to forget about all the red ones for a couple of minutes is all.
That's right. A Leeds juice, 2 perfect stones, corner guard and fully hidden behind it. Can't ask for more than that.
No.
Great start to the send for the team from Alberta, from Edmonton. So China trying to consolidate their domination of the control zone here with a stone to the top of the button, which they've played really nice. And now Rory Hartwell, second player on this Hartwell team, being asked to double a couple of reds and maybe roll to the side. Just trying to get it to curl. Looks to be really nice. Perfect. Gets the double takeout, creates another corner guard. Ideal result for Tori playing number 2 in this team. Interestingly, China not electing remove any yellows.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking about that in my mind here.
It's a big call to guard that yellow with three yellows hanging around like that.
Yeah.
A big call to guard that red, excuse me. I think she needs to attack something here.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think if I wasn't going to guard and I wasn't going to hit one of those, I think I'm coming around it or doing something else to get another rock in the house that's going to outcount something in the back. The guard is so hard to throw a perfect guard 4 or 5 times in a row that you're quite easily looking at a deuce by the time you're done.
Yeah. If you miss that guard once, you're potentially losing 3.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I like this call. Just maybe hit 3/4 of the yellow on the right side as we look. Either pick the other corner guard or pick the shot in the rings. Either or.
Yeah.
A little bit of luck, you might finish somewhere near the 4-foot circle in front of the rings.
No, exactly. Yes.
That would be ideal, but there's a couple of options for a double there. They're leading by 2. I think the only thing that mustn't happen here from their perspective is that they'll lose a 3. So the way to lose a 3, I think, is to leave those yellows lying around.
No, I think you're right. And there's a little bit of risk here in the sense that if you hit that top yellow and then it bounces off the one that's closer to the rings, it stays somewhere. So yellow could be sitting 2-3 by the time this shot is done. But even if that happens, it's going to be, probably relatively open, other than maybe your one red one that's going to be probably close to being in front of your other one. So I think you're going to make a play on this somehow or other. Ideally, throw it. If you can throw it hard enough to make sure you get a couple, then that wouldn't be bad.
I agree. I think the worst result here would be to jam the yellow in the 8-foot.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good, because then you've got a guard, you've got a stone hidden, and the yellow could come around and freeze on top of it.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing to avoid, is the jam. As long as you're getting something else, I think it's going to be pretty good for you. Looks like they're going for the draw, the guard.
After all that, yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised.
Well, it's one of those moments when if it goes well and you steal, then no one talks about it. But if things go wrong and you lose a 2 or a 3, then it's possibly a coaching moment where you look back and say, we were winning by 2. Did we really need to guard that redstone?
Yeah.
Ting Yu Su, third player on this Chinese team, looking to guard up this red. It's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it really does.
As long as it's got the legs, it'll make it, but it's just going to be a little bit short, I think. Wow, edge to edge.
Yeah. Might have got far enough to, I was going to say, to prevent it from rolling underneath. It would take a very, very gutsy sweeping call to roll it underneath. So could have been worse.
Would be classed as an aggressive call, Jim, I think. I'm not sure that would be my call in that situation, guarding that up.
No, it wouldn't have been mine either.
I think at 4-2 up, I think you can keep things a little bit simpler and try and give them 1.
Well, yeah, I think that you got to be thinking force to 1, and if everything goes out of whack for you a little bit, you give up 2 and you're tied up with the hammer coming home. So I think that's kind of where you have to be. You have to make sure you're not playing something that allows them to possibly get 3. And as you said, they were in a position there with one shot goes wrong and they could be looking at 3.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like to be too negative, but at the same time, sometimes I found you got to be realistic too. Like stuff happens.
Yeah, and I think we have to be honest and say, look at the scoreboard. I mean, you're in good shape. China's in good shape here.
Yeah.
One is perfect. 2 is certainly not a disaster. The only thing that is a disaster would be a 3-er end, and that's only going to happen if you leave rocks lying around. So,
well, if Team Hartwell can make one really good shot here, probably better to roll behind those other corners than roll
absolutely, yeah.
And if you could ever do that, that's a tougher roll, but if you could ever do it, you'd be in really good shape.
With controlled weight down here, the tendency has been just to over curl a little, so she might well get the 7-foot roll in behind those 2 corners would be really good position for them.
Yeah.
I think rolling behind the short red guard's not going to help much.
No, I agree.
But that's what she's got almost. You still have to say advantage Hartwell here, looking good for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
If China would ever touch a guard or something, then it could get even better for Hartwell, but they're going to have to make the last 3 shots, Team Hartwell, to make sure they get their 2. Nicely done. Probably looking to go under a little bit, but we'll be reasonably happy with that, I think.
Yeah, it's a hard one to roll under just because you're so defensive on making sure you do not touch that front one that it's hard to actually make that inside roll, which is obviously you got to be willing to go pretty tight to that guard.
That's it. And if you ever touch that guard, then really three's on the table. So
yeah,
it's the professional miss. And now Lisa Miller would love just to hang around in the 12-foot, and she's done it perfectly. It's a really good result.
Yeah, it is really good.
You just love those when, there is a center guard in play, and now you're basically saying to China, okay, if you want to draw around your center guard, go right ahead, but we've got 2 in the rings, and that tends to mean that teams will go for those wide counters. And if she noses this, then you can be aggressive again. So it's a great result for Team Hartwell, actually.
Yeah, it was a good shot.
So Yujie Zhang with her first stone in the 7th. Trying to remove this yellow and possibly roll to the 4-foot.
Roll out, I think.
All the way through. So now, do you go behind that red guard?
Well, I think you have to. Yeah.
Or do you push a yellow?
Yeah, you could. I think you leave the outside yellow, and you could tap the what I'll call it the middle yellow, the middle rock, I guess, between the. You could certainly tap that one. I like this. I like the straight come around.
We always talk about tolerance, and the problem with these, you can't be short, you can't be long.
Yeah.
It's kind of got to be perfectly top 4-foot. And even then, when you make perfect top 4-foot, she's got a really, not a short run, but a makeable run, let's say, to get out of trouble.
Yeah. If
you could place this one, Jim, where would you place it?
I would go probably, let me have a look at it here, but I would go, I'm thinking not super deep, so I'm thinking like full 8-foot maybe, At
Right.
most, I want to make sure that if I make it really good and she decides to come down and sit on me, that I just still have a pretty easy draw for 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be any deeper than that.
Deeper is making the run back harder if she would ever play the run back.
Yeah.
But possibly if you were to sit like back 4 foot here, she would just freeze down on top of you.
Yeah, that would be my fear. And she could take the whole end away if that happens. So
Yeah.
she must have got outside on this, Brian, I think. It just not really close to. She gave her a bit of an out, certainly.
Mhm.
And she could end up with a tough shot for 1 here, possibly. We'll see what happens here. But that's one. If you're going to go play the come around, you kind of have to be willing to be a little bit tighter to the guard than that.
Yeah. It is. It's just there's almost zero tolerance. That's the issue with it. Is it has to be pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
Can't be open. Can't be long. Can't be top 12 because top 12 is making things really bad.
Yeah.
So the tolerance is just a tricky thing to manage. So now Zhang looking for the inside roll under behind her own center guard. And she's made it pretty well, but it is chippable, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. Based on what happened the last time, that I didn't think it was possible. I definitely think this one's possible.
It certainly looks easier on the overhead than it does from the.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that rolls 2 more inches, then you don't even probably have a chance at 2. So, unless you're like, well, you could play the angle raise on the yellow one.
Yes,
wouldn't be a bad shot. If you were stymied, you couldn't make this, then I think that would be the shot. I think I would give that a go before I play the draw for 1.
that's the out for sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
raise the yellow nearest the center line. She's going for it.
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's definitely a makeable shot, and she can match it up here, then she'll get her 2.
So Michelle Hartwell with the last stone of the 7th end, a delicate chip to score 2 to level things up at 4 each. Nice throw.
Got to move a little bit more, but it's getting close. No.
I think she's just overthrown that. Did you see how fast that was?
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that at that speed, I don't think you were getting to be honest, Jim.
No.
So it's a steal for Team Zhang of China, and they race into a 5-2 lead after 7. Hartwell with hammer in the 8th coming up in a moment.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. We are live from Sheet 5, and we're in the last end of the game between Zhang of China and Hartwell from Edmonton, Alberta. Zhang has stolen one in the 7th, so she's now leading by 5 points to 2. So Michelle Hartwell and her team now need a 3 in this last end to stay in the game.
Yeah, definitely doable. You got to make a lot of good shots, but definitely doable. 3 in the with the way rules the way they are now, or you see it happen more than you used to see it happen, and I think it's a very good possibility. You just have to make 8.
That's right, and as you say, with the 5 rock rule, that's favoring the team in this situation, the team with hammer, because basically China is unable to hit the guards when they would want to hit the guards. They have to wait one more stone, and that just gives you that extra percentage of probability that you can get 2 for sure, but of course you need 3.
Yeah.
Interesting call here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think she wanted hers to be out in front of the house.
But it's even worse now because it's...
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, there's a chance.
Yeah,
You've
the
only
nice
put-
thing... Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead, Jim.
I said that the nice thing about with the rules and everything the way they are is that you can manufacture an opportunity for a 3 without really the other team having to have a whole lot of glaring misses. They can... Some point you're going to need them to miss something, or at least some partial shots, but it's not like they don't have to miss much if you put yours all in the right places.
Absolutely agree. That's it. They've basically only got 5 hits instead of the usual 6.
Yeah.
So if you play all 8 stones perfectly, you've got 2.5, I would say. You just need a little bit of a rub to get your 3. Just a little bit unlucky. Hasn't managed to hide fully behind this corner guard. So that's half a mistake, and China will be very happy to remove that yellow. As we see Min Lu, second player for... Excuse me, it's Yujie Zhang, lead player of this China team. No, it is the second player, I'm sorry. Perfect hit and roll to the button.
That's a good place to roll too for the Chinese team. It's you don't want to really be anywhere near the corners, I don't think. So that's about the best you could do. That's where you were trying to throw your first shot at the end anyway, so that's one thing.
So Team Hartwell really need to be fully hidden this time. Give themselves a shot at that 3.
Going to get it there? Looks like it.
Looks like it's going to bite.
Yeah. Going to bite, and it's almost a corner guard too, so.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
So that red guard on the right side is giving them a little bit of a lifeline as well, because if China clear this, Team Hartwell could opt to go behind the red.
That's a good shot, though.
That's a really nice shot.
Yeah.
And there we see Michelle indicating to go around this red guard. So probably want to be deep here. Don't really think top 12 is helping you much.
No, you got to make room for a second one to go in there because there's no other corners. It's the other option would be to throw one more corner up on the shot in front of the one that you have biting the house. But whichever way you want to do it, you're going to have to get another rock or two. This is going to curl a lot, though. They really need this to be a slow down, if anything else. No.
It's just going through. So that's a huge setback for their plans for 3. China electing to rip this guard off.
Yeah, it's interesting. You wouldn't have to do this here. You could do it the other way. You could hit the yellow one. So, just get rid of that, and they come around the corner. Then if they make it good, then you peel the corner off. So whichever.
I think in the back of her mind, Jim, she was looking at the double, actually, red guard and then onto the yellow as a bonus. She was lining that up. Maybe that's in the back of her mind. She's going to call a timeout.
Yeah. You may be right. That may well be what she's thinking. It's just it looks like a tough double.
Yeah.
But you're right in the sense that you could attempt it, and even if you move the yellow one, 10 inches to the left, it's probably, or 2 inches to the left, it's off the circle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't need to touch it much to get it out of the ring. There she is telling her team that's what she's thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't really need the double. They just need to make sure that they do everything cleanly now and don't hang around with their own stones. So just peeling this guard is all she really needs to do, but you can play this with a small chance of a bonus of just touching that yellow. And as you say, 2 inches and it's off the paint.
Yeah.
You would need this double if you were only winning by 2.
Yes.
Or you would like this double if you were only winning by 2. But winning by 3, I mean, just keep peeling the guards or rip the yellow off. The risk of trying the double, of course, is that the shooter hangs around somewhere and creates yet another corner guard.
Yes.
And that's why your call, maybe just to hit the yellow, is probably the simplest, because not many bad things can happen hitting that yellow stone. Looks like that's what the coach has asked them to do, or advised them to do. Just rip the yellow off, probably roll away. You don't really want to hang around here.
No, I definitely don't want to hang around there. I mean, it's like you said, if you nose hit this, then you're leaving another corner guard, and now you're working your way towards a 3 then. So
this is looking close to the nose.
Yeah, let it curl probably would make sense.
So another lifeline thrown to Hartwell's team here, but now they're going to need 4 perfect stones. And maybe they're going to need one more miss.
Yeah, they're gonna need a little bit of good fortune here for things to work out. But they have 2 guards to work with. So in theory, you go behind the one guard and they peel it off. You go behind the other guard, and they do whatever. They hit the open one or peel it off, and then you're got a chance to set another one in, maybe behind a guard, and you have some options.
Exactly. This is looking better than the last one, but needs to be hidden.
Pretty good effort.
Good brush.
She's made some good shots these last 3-4 hands. Actually, the second half has been pretty good in this game. It's, team struggled a little bit getting everything sorted out early, but second half overall has been a lot of good shots. Some misses, but that's what happens, and for the most part, it's been some good shots.
Agree, and this is pulling Team China. We're discussing a down weight, and that's all you can kind of hope for as Team Hartwell. If you see the other team starting to play taps and hack weights, then you know that you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I think the advisable call, because you're winning by 3, I think would still be run the guard.
Yeah.
Run the guard, but never stay. So either just peel it on the right side and roll away, or if it curls up, then you get the run back.
She must be going after the one in the house, but she's going at it with a little bit of weight because it's going to curl pretty hard, I think. Although they don't know if they curl quite as hard from the inside out as they do from the outside in sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So Ting Yu Su. Got to make contact with something here. Looks really nice.
It's a very good shot.
It's not over till it's over, but Team Hartwell now really looking for 2 misses. When they draw around the back of this guard, they're looking for a miss on the guard. So again, got to be hidden. Give themselves a very small chance now of 3. And that's really good.
Yeah, terrific shot.
Couldn't really place that much better. It's made the distance between the red guard and the yellow shot is the best part of 4 meters, 12 feet.
Won't make this one any harder than it is. It's just, if you make the red one go away, you're going to have an open hit to win the game.
Yeah. So skip stones in the 8th end. This is Yujie Zhang with her first stone in this 8th end. Looking just to make this guard go away.
Looks like they should have done it.
Nicely done.
Not sure I completely understand this call, even, to be honest. I know you haven't got a lot left, but I don't think you want to put it over there anywhere in front of the yellow. Just probably gives her a little bit of a wider target, unless
Correct.
You're lined up exactly perfect. I think I'd just throw it down on the left-hand side and behind one of those red ones and or the outside.
Hope for a miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything she throws here is going to make the target wider.
Yeah.
And you know, those ones at the back of the 12 foot, they can be a little bit trickier than you sometimes expect.
Oh, yeah,
They might be curling a lot at the end, and you know, you might get caught out, but this is unfortunately just making that a little bit easier, I would say. I agree with you, Jim. I mean, she's played a really nice freeze, but it's effectively a wider target now.
Yeah.
So lots of curling coming up. We're streaming all the sheets through Curling Stadium, and all games are available to watch on the Alberta Curling Series and Curling Zone YouTube channels. So find your favorite team's games on Curling Zone's YouTube channel. Check out the playlist option and search for your own favorite team. As this game draws to an end with a perfect double takeout from Team China. Not quite, but perfectly played. And that will be a win for Team Zhang from Beijing in China. Well done to them. They continue. This is a triple knockout format, so they are now on 1 win and 1 loss. Team Hartwell dropped to 2 losses. Great to commentate with you, Jim.
Same here, Brian. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And you're back on later, I see. There's more curling coming up
Yeah, I'm
pretty
a
much
couple
all
times.
day.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Please tune in later, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.